friends, it's Kim back from Making Creative Memories in Time. I'm a little off schedule. Instead of having a simple page kit Saturday, today we are going to do a simple page kit Sunday. And this simple page kit is the March kit number 4. And what I love about this kit is it can be spring or Easter. And I'm choosing to use this as a spring, not necessarily scrapbooking Easter photos. So we'll see how this turns out, because a lot of the embellishments are, you know, a little Eastery. The stickers, you have eggs, and you have a little fence with eggs hidden in the grass, and you have the bunny, you have these eggs, you have the Easter basket. But I am going to make it work because I want to document I love springtime. Fall is my favorite season. Spring is a very close second. So every year, the blossoms that happen, I love to take pictures of the different blossoms. And so a lot of these pictures of springtime blossoms are very important to me. I don't know where you're located, your geographical region, but here in Kentucky, we have a plant that is called the southern, and I don't even know if this is the real plant name, but here where we live in the South, we call this a bleeding heart, because the bloom is a heart and it's got a little drip bloom that looks like a bleeding heart. So this is a start I got from my grandmother's bleeding heart. So that plant is very precious to me. Always has been, but even more so now that she's gone. These are called primrose. These are what we call the old-fashioned primrose. And when my mom and dad moved to our house in Tennessee in 2011, they retired there. I got a start of these primrose from my mother's garden. So I still have these. I love them. These are called grape hyacinths, and they're little petite miniature early bloomers. And again, I got this start from my grandmother. These, I'm not really sure the name of these. These have been passed down. They're like a money plant. But I know that's not the technical term for this plant. Botanists would probably get me. This is, we call this Aunt Bee's flower. My grandma's sister, my great Aunt Beatrice, gave my grandma a start of these. And once they're finished blooming, there is this like little seed packet that you can see through that happens, and wherever those seeds drop, these sprout up and bloom during the next spring. And they're absolutely gorgeous. They get a bloom on them sort of like a phlox, but we call them Aunt Bee's flowers. And this is my dad's cherry. These pictures were taken in 2020. This is my dad's cherry tree up on his orchard in bloom that year. So this is precious to me because my dad planted that entire orchard. And you can see all of these trees here are part of the orchard. And then this is me capturing my dogwood out in my front yard just as it was starting to bloom. And of course, we all know the significance of the dogwood and why we love the dogwood so much. So these are the pictures that I'm going to scrapbook. And you can see I have Easter pictures. So I probably will save these stickers to go along with something else. So simple page kit. These you can put together lickety-split, less than 30 minutes. And, you know, if I will stop talking, then we can get this put together in less than 30 minutes. So we have a page in the simple page kits. You have a page that has cut-aparts. And then you have your pre-printed pages. And the pre-printed pages are printed on both sides. That way you can actually use the back side as a page as well. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to do our cuts. We're going to do all of our vertical cuts first, and then we'll flip them around and do our horizontal cuts. And I love, love, love the simplicity of these kits. And I typically always have to do a little, once I make these cuts and I flip them over and get ready to use them, I typically always have to do a little trim somewhere, and that's no problem. You can well, right there, that's an example. There's a tiny little bit of gray there, and we'll just flip that over and just shave that little bit off. That is typical. And before I cut these, I'm just going to make sure there's nothing to shave off, because it's easier to cut. And then, like, now that I know where I'm at, I think it'll be easier to, right there's a teeny little bit of blue, minute little bit of blue. And then this one is the same, so we're just going to cut this. Same pattern. Okay, so I am going to show you how quickly this is going to come together. So when we look at our left page is this one. We're going to work on these one page at a time. Our left page is the one that has like the speckled paper, and then more like the sea green, dark sea green, and then like the light blue. And so what's going to happen first is we're going to peel off one of these scallop stickers, and I'm just rubbing my finger over that because it's going to help the inside stick a little. I have one little piece right there that didn't stick down. Peel that off, and then this is going to run scallop side out, and it's just going to run edge to edge, and then notice I'm leaving the sticker raised up because once this is down, it's down. And I'm going to apologize if I'm a little crooked. I always get crooked when I scrapbook, friends. Can't be the only one. Okay, there we go. And then let's go ahead and put down our mats. So we're going to need one of these mats that's going to sort of go right here. And then we're going to use a mat here and a mat here. Now, these do have a little bit of a pattern, so I'm going to look at them and make sure that they're going to stay. The pattern is going to be the same. Now, you could totally arrange these if you didn't want them to be a little, like, off. You could arrange them so that they're not off, and I think that's what I'm going to do. I don't think I want them to be at an angle like this. I think I want mine to be more straight. So that is what I'm going to do. Simple Page Kit Sunday. I've just been a little swamped with work and life. And so things have just been, you guys know how busy, like this is a busy time right now. And so there that is. So we're going to go ahead and get our pictures on here, do our title and all of that. So this picture is going to go on the other page. And I think, let me look and see. I think this picture is going to go on the other page. Maybe trying to look at, you know what? I don't know that I'm going to be able to cut my picture. I was thinking I had a picture. So I pulled another picture thinking I thought that I was going to be able to use one of those photos like that. I am not. So here's what we're going to do. This is what happens. And instead of editing this out, I am going to show you guys, anytime you're using a sketch or pre-designed page like this, make it work for the photos that you have. And I'm going to pull in my little rub and remove. I'll have this link down below. And I will also have this kit link down below. And let me say this. If you're new to me and you have not done a simple page kit class with me in the past, you can qualify by either leaving a comment down below or emailing me that you want this simple page kit for free, and you can get this simple page kit for free. The only thing you have to do is schedule a virtual class with me, and this will come right to your doorstep, and then we will do a virtual class together by Zoom. And this is a simple page kit for you for free. So I'm just removing that gunk. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to end up putting this more centered. Because I'm making this work for the photos I have. Not necessarily the way that it was designed, but making it work for the photos that I have, because I thought my photos were going to work, and they did not. And I'm just going to feel around to make sure there's no more gunk on that page. So I still like, this is still the photo that I like because I have an old time pump out there, and I absolutely love that in that garden. And so I am going to trim this down. I'm not going to do my white mat behind this, so I am going to trim this down to 3 3/4, and then I'm going to take off the top by 5 3/4, and that's going to give me, let's make sure that was 5 3/4, friends. Yes, and let's make sure that was 3 3/4. Yes, and that is going to give me a little bit of that mat. Now, I'm not doing the typical white mat that I love, like the double matting. See, I wrote on there with my pencil. And if you guys have photos that you need to label, I'll link this down below too. It is a water-soluble pen that is safe to write on the back of your photos. It writes on glass, metal, plastic, wood, and it's photo safe. Love that. Okay, so now I need to trim down, and I think what I'm going to do is I am going to trim down, let's see, these, that one, and I think that one are going to be my 4x4s. This one we're not going to use. So let's trim this down. This is a, let's double check and make sure it's a 4x4. Indeed it is. So these pictures are going to be 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. And let's do this one first. I'm just going to sort of look at where I want the top of that picture to be, and then that's how I crop photos. And then I want this pretty primrose, my beautiful primrose. These are actually in bloom right now, and I moved them to a garden around the base of my oak tree, my maple tree in the backyard. And I am looking at that little spring garden right there out my window. Now, primrose, if you go to the nursery, if if you go to the nursery section of Lowe's, Home Depot, Walmart, any of those chain nurseries, you can find these in different colors. And I've actually had a few of them in different colors, but I love what I call the old time or old fashioned. So we are going to, I'm not necessarily going to do my, now that I've changed this around, it's going to look a little different. I think I am still going to do the Hello Spring, and I think I'm going to let that sort of overlap these photos just a little. And again, I'm so sorry for being crooked, friends. I think I'm going to let that overlap right there. And I want the hello to sort of be a little like that. Okay. And now let's look. Even though this has Easter bunnies, Easter eggs, I do think that would be cute right here. And then I am going to do this spring things, or let's do love. And you know what I'm going to do? You know me. We're going to pull out some thin tape. This is some thin all the way around tape. And we are going to pop this up on some thin tape. And we're going to do this word love. Because I love these things that are in my garden. Yes, I do. And let me count how many butterflies I have. I've got 1, 2, 3 butterflies. So let's use this butterfly. And of course, you know what I'm going to do here. Now, if you were making this simple page kit on your own, you could follow the directions, or you could change it up like I am. I tend to make things work for my pictures, right? That's kind of how we all are. And that's why I am showing you how to, anytime you're working on, whether it be a sketch or a simple page kit like this, don't be afraid to change it to make it work for your needs. I would put this butterfly right here, but I feel like it gets lost in that polka dot. So we're going to put the butterfly. I want it to still fly into the second page, but we're going to put it right there on that dark sea green. Now, when it goes into its forever home, those little wings are going to get pushed down, but for now, I'm just fluffing them up a little. And then let's put one more little butterfly right down here. And I think I'm going to do this one. I'm afraid the blue one might get lost on, like it may not show up as well right there. And then we'll go to our second page, and then when we're finished, we'll come back and see if there's any kind of little embellishment that we want to add here and there. And this one, doesn't matter if it flies into the page or off the page in that direction. I'm just choosing to have it go that way. Now, this would be a good place to journal right here. Draw some lines and journal. Or you could just take a little white cardstock and do some strip journaling right there, because that will really let your words stand out on that speckled. Cute, cute, cute. I don't think I'm going to do any other little embellishments for now. So we're going to move this one to the side. And then we are going to pull in our second page. And our second page has the 2 blue pieces lining up. And again, friends, I'm sorry if that's crooked. And we're going to do that same thing. We're just going to rub our thumb and finger over that so that when we start peeling, hopefully all those little pieces stay in. See what I'm talking about there? That way you don't have to punch those out. Now, you could come back and use those if you wanted, somewhat like a little enamel dot. I think that would be fun to do. So let's hold this back while we attach. And so the thing that I love about these Noteworthy Simple Page Kits is if you collect all of them, and if that is something you would be interested in, they're only $6, but every quarter you can get the entire quarterly bundle, and it comes with this really cute little blue sleeve that has them numbered for you. And then if you purchase them every month, or if you back up and purchase them, then at the end of the year you get a free album from me to put these in. And then this would be like a monthly highlight photos, and I love that. I love that. So let's pull these. I do need to do just a squish of trimming on this one, just razor thin, because there's a little bit of that beige paper. So again, we're going to look at our photos and we're going to see. I don't know that we're going to have a photo that's going to go this way again. So what may happen, since I don't have that photo, I may turn that into a journal spot, friends. And what I may do is something like this and make this be a journal spot. We'll see what we have. Or we may turn that into 2 photos. Let's see. So I think I want the purple. And then I could trim down the cherry tree. Let's let this be a journal spot. So this is going to be another fun way that you can see how we change things up. So I'm going to let this be 3 1/4. So let's go ahead and get these adhered down. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to lay these next edge to edge, so because I sort of want the same balance out here, so that the photos on the bottom or journal card are going to be about the same height. Notice I'm not measuring, I'm just eyeballing it. And you can totally, and then over here I left like 1/4 inch, so I want to do that here. You can totally change these Simple Page Kits up any way you want to change them up. You can add to them. You can change them around the way I'm changing this around. Totally. And this just makes it fun, I think. Okay, so now let's trim out our photos. So we're going to take 1/4 off. I think I want my 1/4 to come off the bottom. And there will also be, this photo trimmer is fabulous. It will be linked down below. And the actual 12-inch paper trimmer will be linked down below. Also, there will be information about joining my team. There is a great special right now. If you join my team, you join for $49. You immediately get $50 back in Creative Memories credits. And there is an awesome rainbow dot tote bag that you get. And I would love to have you join my team. I'm growing my team. I am trying to earn a reward. And as a team member, you get my workshops for free. The directions to my workshops, you get them for free. So let's add that right there. And now I am going to pull in, hopefully I have a piece of scrap. Would you look at that? That's pretty much going to work. All I need to do is trim like 1/4 off. And this will be a journal spot. And what will happen is, off camera, I will lay down my ruler, because I write really crooked and I write big and fat, so I have to give myself journaling parameters. Does anybody, like, I can't be the only one, right? I have to give myself journaling parameters. So off camera, I will lay down a ruler and I will decide, do I want to draw lines with the pen and let them be permanent, or do I want to draw lines with a pencil, do my journaling, and then after the ink is dry, come back and erase my pen lines. So let's look at what we have. I know I am going to, and I'm going to lay this right here because, I don't know, these weren't printed. Oh, these are not going to stick. When I use my printer at home, my silicone mat sticks to my pictures. I want to use the rain boots and the umbrella. Definitely want to use the other butterfly. I want to use the daffodils. Let's use the baby lamb. I'm looking at what I possibly want to use. Spring things. And let's, since we're doing the rain boots and the umbrella, let's do the ducks. I'm saving everything that is Easter. Okay, and the reason I'm saving what's Easter, these are not Easter pictures, but the Noteworthy Days annual collection has some Easter theme, and because this matches the Noteworthy Days annual collection, I know this will match. So I'm taking everything except the Easter, okay? So what I think I want to do is, let's do the umbrella, like right here, and the little rain boots. And then let's do these little ducks. Even though this is, I'm showing bright sunny pictures, we're just gonna do spring things. I love it. Spring things. I love it. I think down here, let's do a daffodil right here. And a daffodil right here. And let's do, we're not putting foam on this butterfly because this is going to be part of my little journaling block. So we're just going to let it do its thing right there. All right, let's see. So I think we've got a good, right here we could do a daffodil and a little duck right here. I'm looking at where these things are going to show up good, okay? The lamb, I don't think I'm going to use. I don't think I'm going to use the lamb, so I'm going to pull that little sticker pack right back in. And we are going to attach that right back there. But I am going to show you how I'm going to pull these little, and my tweezers may not be what I want to use. I may want to use, I'm going to put these together to make them, they're semicircles, but I'm going to put them together to make them look like, so maybe I do need my tweezers, to make them look like an enamel dot. And this is tedious, friends. And then I'll come back in with some, you guys have seen me use liquid glass before. I'll come back in with some liquid glass and put over that, and it gives it that enamel dot feeling. I'm going to move this around. And that will help disguise the little area where they meet up, so to speak. This is just a fun way to use up all the pieces, right? It's just a fun way to use up all the pieces. And you could use any kind of glossy glue. Mine just happens to be called liquid glass. And it's literally 100 years old. Literally. No, it isn't. Creative memory, I mean, Close to My Heart wasn't around 100 years ago. But this probably goes back to the early 2000s, truth be told. And I've got, I think I may have given some of this away, but at one point, I think I had like maybe 3 or 4 bottles of this. And it dries super glossy. Takes it, depending on how thick it goes on, it takes it a hot minute to dry. But I'm going to hold this up so I can lay it out of the way so that you can see. Hopefully you're picking up the sheen on it right there. And so that will, as it dries, that will sort of help disguise the little slit where those came together and met together. And then it will actually look like an enamel dot. I love it. I love it. And then I'll do the same on the other page so that it matches. But let me hold these up so you can see. And when that dries, it's going to have that little domed effect to make it look more like enamel dots. So there you go, friends. Super simple page kit. And hopefully you enjoyed the way that I showed you that you can make it fit your needs. So be sure to leave a comment, subscribe if you would like to follow my content on here. And until next time, happy scrapping.